Hi all, right, welcome back. DD at Saipan. This will be part 7. I've actually just come straight back there. I thought rather than copy the part across while I've got the ability to keep going, I should. Because I'm probably not going to get an awful lot more done, but I can get started anyway. Right, well, we don't want to talk about anything. We've done all our talking in part 6, and I will put a note in the header about that. So let's get the US action phase finished in this part, hopefully. Okay, so I've had my 3 paid actions, and the only other thing I can do with these guys is carry out 3 actions. If any of them have got 3 actions, and remember, preservation moves are possible. Now this unit here, again, there's a little one there. I mean, well, I want to feel like this unit's kind of part of this. You know, I got the feeling, excuse me, that this was maybe part of this, and you think, well, this could get a free preservation move in here. I mean, we're about to start looking at movement under fire rules, but you know, I mean, is this allowed to go with it? You know, I don't think so. I think I would need to be given that an action, and I'm going to have to leave it like that. But the fact these were able to tag along and fire together, I mean, I don't know. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, I'm going to have to assume that as for a preservation move, that unit can just move by itself. So we've got, however, this battalion headquarters is where these 2 units. So these can get a free action. It doesn't need to be a preservation move. However, it kind of looks like they want to move in there. So, I mean, I know I've got stuff up here there as well. But let's look at this first. So I need to be looking. Now we took out the red position. Well, when I say we took it out, we've disrupted it. So red fire. Let's get a wee bit closer in there, Grant. Show people what we're talking about. Right, so these are in this position here. So we've got red intense fire and brown and blue in this hex. Now, I know we've disrupted red, so that was good. So that kind of takes that out. Because what I'm thinking is we're going to have issues moving from here to here. Because the red part's been taken care of, because intense to intense would cause some issues, I think. I think that classes as movement under fire. Now, we don't have any tanks at all with us, and remember, we've had clarification that the LVTAs would not help us with this anyway. However, brown and blue here are not disrupted, and brown fires into both these hexes, and blue fires into both these hexes as well. Green fires into there only, so... But we'd be moving from brown intense and blue intense into brown intense and blue intense. Sorry. I keep thinking my cold's on its way out, and it's kind of lingering now. Right. I think I need to pause for a second, and or maybe more than a second, probably, and look into these movement under fire rules. Okay, so just reading the first bit. This is on page 14. 7.3.3. Movement under fire, which they abbreviate to MUF, and infiltration fire. The movement of a US unit or stack from a hex containing a field of fire dot of a Japanese position that is occupied and undisrupted, revealed or unrevealed, to another hex that also contains a field of fire dot from that same position is movement under fire. So, like I've just said, us moving, the red is not affected because red is disrupted, but the brown and the blue are both affected. This would be movement under fire for brown and blue. So, where are we? So any US unit or stack conducting MUF must undergo Japanese infiltration fire to accomplish the move. And then the second bullet is regimental HQs, which we don't have on board yet, and infantry HQs, which we do, may not attempt a movement under fire on their own, but may move with a regular unit attempting movement under fire. Okay, so yeah, so we can't move this guy on his own to do it. This battalion H headquarters. Now we've got an important note here in red. Important: a position occupied solely by a pillbox qualifies as an unoccupied Japanese positions for purposes of movement under fire and infiltration fire. Right. Okay. If it's just sitting there a pillbox on its own, well, there are a couple of pillboxes out there, but that's not relevant here. Okay. So 7.3.3a is movement under fire and leaving a steady field of fire. Well, we're not doing that, so I'm going to leave that one for now and move on to the which you would think should be worse, 7.3.3b, movement under fire and leaving an intense fire field of fire, which is what we're doing. So a non-tank unit must expend its total printed movement points. It may not conduct any other movement to leave an intense field of fire if unoccupied by a tank unit. Okay, and all this talk within, I want to say all this talk within movement under fire about tanks means tanks. These guys. Tank unit. It doesn't, this is what we've been explaining in part 6. It does not have anything to do with LVTs or LVTAs, right? Just tanks. So, well, we don't have any tanks with us. We've not got any tanks on the board yet either. So anything that we come across reading that is we're not going to get the benefit from. So, so that means we must expend our total printed movement points. Now, hang on. Right, I was struggling. I was hunting high and low to find out how much movement allowance that we have. So it is right at the beginning of movement, 7.3. So, well, yeah, 7.3. It jumped. What is that? Movement actions. That's right at the beginning. It's 7.0. That's a bit odd, isn't it? Why is it not in the movement action bit? Talks about the movement points there from its movement allowance. You need to go back page 13. I know I'd read it somewhere. So movement 7.3. Move using a movement allowance of 3 during game turns 1 through 4. Beginning game turn 5, the movement allowance of all units is 4. So we've got a movement allowance of 3 throughout this scenario, if you like, unless we push on. Yeah. But it's unlikely you're going to be able to sort of like move 3 hexes. And I'm not just basing that on terrain, because one of the big restrictions is a unit must end its move. This is 7.3.1 on page 14, movement limitations. A unit must end its move if any of the following apply. A unit has expended all of its movement points. Yeah, but it's not really that one. A unit enters a hex in the intense field of fire of a non-disrupted enemy occupied position, and it is not a tank unit or is not accompanied by a tank unit. So that's the sort of one you're going to see. The other one is the unit enters a hex, which is the next one in line. The unit enters a hex adjacent to a Japanese unit, even if that unit is disrupted on a counter-attack stance. So, I mean, all them are doing, you know, where am I? I'm moving this guy, I'm moving these guys into here. They're moving into intense fire. They're also moving adjacent to Japanese units. This is disrupted. It doesn't matter, it says there as well. So, I knew there was no real need to sort of know what the movement points were at the moment. But you can see once things, well, assuming we clear some of this stuff up, you will then get to maybe move a bit further in. So, okay, yeah, I was away hunting for that. So where are we? Right. Yeah, so going back to 7.3.3b, movement under fire, leaving an intense field of fire. And we've not got a tank unit, so we are going to expend all our movement points. A non-tank unit must expend its total printed movement points It may not conduct any other movement to leave an intense field of fire if unaccompanied by a tank unit. So that is our situation. And for multiple reasons, that's all we're going to be able to do anyway. So an important note here, a unit that conducts movement under fire from a hex in an intense field of fire to a hex occupied by a US unit must check for Japanese fire, but the fire is always steady, and 7.3.3a is used instead. Oh, okay. Some of these are I'm getting some slight memories of Iwo Jima, I think. Like I say, I didn't really delve much into it. I think that is somewhat, and that tells me, let me read that again. A unit that conducts movement under fire from a hex in an intense field of fire to a hex occupied by a US unit must check for Japanese fire, but the fire is always steady, and 7.3.3a is used instead, which is, it's the one regarding steady fire, which I skipped over because we're intense. So what that suggests to me is, the only thing is, this guy can't move by himself, can he? What I think that's suggesting is we give, all these get a free action, right? We move this guy into here. Now he's going to follow 7.3.3b because it's intense. Find out what happens to him. Hopefully he gets away with it, maybe. And then once we move this guy in, because it's occupied by a US unit, we're then going to have a slightly better chance of avoiding fire. It's going to be steady fire instead of intense fire, basically. But it did sort of say that guy, the headquarters, couldn't do it by himself. So I'm thinking he would have to move with that 2nd Infantry unit, wouldn't he? Where did it say that? Right, give me a sec. Yeah, regimental HQs and infantry HQs may not attempt a movement under fire on their own, but may move with a regular unit attempting movement under fire. Okay, so we would get away. We could move one infantry unit in there first, and then move the other infantry company and the headquarters in the second X, and it might be slightly better. I'm going to have to read both of these, obviously, and understand them. Let's carry on with the intense field of fire, because we need to move a unit in there first. So one of these infantry units, whether we pick the circle or the diamond, that might be it might be relevant because it might look at the symbol, but we shall see. So carrying on, one fire card is drawn, and if the card colour matches the colour of the field of fire, in the hex the units are moving from, one step loss is inflicted on one unit and the unit is disrupted. Oh, ouch. Important, TSM is not required. TSM? What's TSM? It's a symbol, isn't it? Is it target symbol modifier? No. Yeah, it's. I think it's a symbol. I think what it's saying is you only need the colour. It's not a match. My guess is that steady fire might require that. TSM is not required. I just want to see it written somewhere. Hang on. I think it's match, isn't it? Target symbol match. I'm looking back at the book here. I've got target symbol, and then I'm looking for a bit that says. I'm pretty sure we read it, and then it was abbreviated, and then obviously quite a lot with these rule books. They'll type it out fully once and then turn it into an abbreviation. And then you've got to remember what it was. Probably Japanese fire, Target symbol. Come on. Where are you? Right, I can't be bothered. I was going to go to the computer there and type in and search for TSM. I can't be bothered because I want to get on with this. I'm pretty sure it's target symbol match. And that's what it says. That makes sense. Important. Target symbol match is not required. So that's kind of brutal. And it's brutal in more ways than one because, I mean, okay, we've got red disrupted, but that's blue or brown. We draw a fire card. If either blue or brown are on it, no symbol matters, then that guy takes a hit and is disrupted. It carries on. It is possible that a unit could leave one hex in the field of fire of 2 positions, which is what's happening to us. In this case, the player still draws 1 card. However, if there is a card colour match for either position, only 1 unit suffers 1 hit and 1 disruption. Only 1 unit suffers 1 hit. Ah, yeah, okay. Yeah, it's saying that if brown and blue, if you had brown and blue on the card, it would only hit once. Yeah, I was figuring that, but it does mean that brown or blue could do it. And then the third bullet is, if a stack of units is conducting the movement under fire, the player is free to assign the step loss and disruption to any 1 unit. So, yeah, in actual fact, we do want to move all together then, don't we? Yeah, it doesn't make sense that what I was saying, because we're still going to have to do a steady field of fire check. And let's just go, yeah, let's just jump back to 7.3.3a, movement under fire and leaving a steady field of fire. An on-tank unit expends 1 extra movement point to leave a steady field of fire if unaccompanied by a tank unit. The player then, so it was full movement points to go in tens. It adds 1 movement point from steady. Okay, and then we draw 1 fire card. If the card colour matches the colour of the field of fire and the hex the units are moving from, and there is a target symbol match. It says it there. Target symbol match, and it's got TSM. It's right there, Grant. If you'd read that bit to start with. 1 step loss is taken by 1 unit that has a target symbol match with the fire card. No talk about disruption there. It is possible that a unit could leave 1 hex in the field of fire 2 positions and enter another hex in the field of fire of the same 2 positions. In this case, the player still draws 1 card. However, if there is a card colour and target symbol match from either position, the player only assigns 1 hit to 1 unit. A maximum of 1 hit can be applied to a single unit or stack of units conducting this movement. Oh well, we are better just moving together and suffer the consequences. We're going to get 1 hit and 1 disruption. Oh, hang on though. Any US units conducting movement under fire that suffer a step loss and or disrupted must remain in the hex from which they started the move the unit has performed an action. Yeah, okay, so it means he's going to be left behind. Okay. Yeah, I've not really done any of this, and I think we just need to get moving with this and do it and find out that it's not a good idea to do this, or it is a good idea to do this, or might get lucky, might not. Yeah, if a stack of units is conducting the movement under the fire, the player is free to assign the step loss and disruption to any 1 unit. Okay, so we can pick the one we want, leave it behind in the hex. My guess is we could pick the headquarters unit if we wanted, but that seems kind of silly. Yeah, it seems very silly, Grant. So then it talks about tank units, hit results, any US units conduct. Yeah, I've read that. HQ, move the HQ. Once any type of HQ is moved, it no longer provides command for the rest of the action phase. Plan the sequencing of units actions accordingly. Yeah, that's fine, but we know we're in command throughout this scenario, so, or throughout game turn 1 to 4, shall we say. Okay, there's probably not as much to this as I thought. Then it moves on to preservation move, which we'll come back to. I think this is more important to do this first. Well, I think so. Yeah, because this guy here is only going to be able to preservation move into. Well, that's a beach landing boat, so I don't think he can move in preservation move into there. So it's going to be either here or here. He's got the choice of. So we'll have a look at that in a minute. So what we're going to do is we're going to give these guys a free action, and these are going to move into this hex. Yeah, okay, and okay, I might find that this is a silly thing to do. I don't know. I don't think so. I think we've got to get moving and just take our chances, really. So let's do this. So we don't concern about red, but blue or brown. So I mean, it's kind of likely we're going to draw blue or brown, but it's not impossible. There's yeah, the last card in the discard pile, there it is there, which doesn't bode well for us drawing. Well, we've got the Japanese fire card. It had blue in it, so, but yeah, it's just random luck, isn't it? Okay, so I'm going to do that. I'm going to make that movement under fire, and we're going to draw a card. So we don't want blue or brown. We do have brown, so there you go. And I guess I just discard this card. That's all I need from it is the colour. So we have that. So what I'm going to do is just take the circle with me, move him into there. He's going to take a step loss, and he stays where he is. And not only that, he's going to be disrupted. So that goes underneath. Oops. It's the joint in the map there. And disrupted, and he's had his action. Now this is where we want to use. Well, I've got the guy turned sideways, so although this is where you would benefit from using. Oops, that's a garrison. There's some of them got garrison in the back. You know where I've got a disrupted unit down here, then this disruption can come off this turn. Whereas this disruption that's going on this guy cannot come off this turn, and that's why you would maybe consider using this one and then you flip it to the other side. I'm going to hope that I can be sensible enough. The fact I'm turning my counters sideways, I don't want to start messing about with disruption counters on either side. So I'm just going to say, I mean, you can see he's had an action and he's now disrupted. So I can't remove that at the end of this turn. I need to wait till next turn. Right. So he did get in there successfully. That's fine. Right. Well, while we're down there, Grant, can we not just look into preservation move, and is it the same? I mean, he's moving from, it's worse, it's brown, blue and red into brown, blue and red and 10. So, but we're at that bit, so let's read preservation move. A US unit that meets the board requirements may conduct a preservation move as a free action if it meets the following conditions. The unit is in a US landing beach hex. Yeah, well this one is. Or is disrupted and adjacent to a Japanese position containing undisrupted Japanese units. Well, it's not that, but it is the first one. We're going to look at the other options shortly. A preservation move may be into an enemy field of fire hex. However, the move may not be used to enter an enemy occupied hex, and may not be used to move from a steady field of fire into an intense field of fire. Well, no, that wouldn't be the case. It's from intense to intense, which sounds worse, so, but it doesn't seem to say we can't do that one. May not be used to move from a steady to an intense. Important, a preservation move must be checked for movement under fire and infiltration fire as a regular move would. A unit using the preservation move may move only 1 hex. A disrupted unit making a preservation move must move to a hex that is not in a Japanese field of fire if possible, and never into a hex with an intense Japanese field of fire. Important, a unit conducts a preservation move may not recover from disruption in that phase. Well, it's kind of like, it's a bit hopeless of us trying to make that move, I think, isn't it? I mean, because brown, blue or red comes up, we're going to be hit and disrupted in that hex. Yeah. And if I move into there, well, that's blue and brown. Yeah, it's just blue and brown. I'm going to be movement under fire into there. That movement under fire is brutal, isn't it? Bring back the good old infiltration fire, where it was just the unit, if you were adjacent to the unit. I mean, there's no talk there, was there? There was no talk about needing to be adjacent to the unit. It's just, yeah, it's just if you're in the field of fire. I guess that's why tanks would help. How do tanks help then? A tank unit or a unit accompanied by a tank may enter an attempt to leave an intense field of fire if that hex is not adjacent to a Japanese unit or position. Conduct the movement under the fire check for this move in the same manner as above. It's not really much better. It just means if the unit is not disrupted or does not take a step loss, it may continue moving. Well, okay. I just feel like that's a suicidal kind of move, isn't it? But then I'm sitting there in brown, blue and red. Next Japanese fire phase, brown, blue or red fire, I'm disrupted and lose a step in that hex. But I don't get to move. You know, if I got to move the hex, it would be worthwhile if I was disrupted in here with a step loss. But I don't. Oh, that's harsh. Am I getting that right? I think so. Hang on. It almost feels like you kind of want... No, you can... Yeah, because if you give an action to a stack, they've got to do the exact same move. You know, if I give this action to the stack to move into this hex, they move together, don't they? Yeah, I'm pretty sure they do. Just what I'm getting at there is, if we were able to give this a move, we've none left, but move that into there. However, this is likely to take a hit and stay where it is, isn't it? And be disrupted. Am I missing things here? This seems awful hard. I mean, what's the chances of me not drawing brown, blue or red? I mean, there's only 6 colours, isn't there? Brown, blue, red, yellow, purple. Brown, blue, red, yellow, purple. That's it, isn't it? There's only 5. Oh, green. Brown, blue, red, yellow, purple, green. So, what's the chances of us hitting yellow, purple and green? Yeah, what you What I really want to do there, I think, is give this an action and move it as a pair and give the hit to the LVT. Because, yeah, they look like they're not really... That's what it looks like would be this, but I can't do that as a preservation move. At least, I don't think I can. Preservation move. I mean, it was always... I mean, before in the other games, the preservation move was only an infantry or engineer unit. None of the tanks or artillery or anything like that could make them. The unit is in a US. Well, actually, it doesn't state that it needs to be an infantry unit. Just states that it needs to be a unit as in the US landing beach hex. Oh. Does that... Well, we can make a free preservation move with that then. Now, do we have to do them individually though? A unit using the preservation move may move only one hex. Well, I don't know. There's nothing to say that I need to do this individually. I don't think. I'm not reading anything. I mean, to be honest, I never thought about the fact that LVT would be able to do a preservation move, because that's me just bringing my knowledge from the older games when it was just, it had to just be infantry or engineer units. Now, did it not say? No. Movement under fire. Okay, well, we might have to be going for something here that we're not sure about. And it'll be one of the ones, maybe let you comment on if I've got it right or not. Because I feel like if I use that LVT to make the move together, then I can leave that behind disrupted, and then I get that infantry unit into there. And, you know, maybe. Well, you need to do something, Grant. It's actually getting late now. I'm going to have to scrap this, but 33 minutes in, I'll hopefully just pause that and can hopefully speed it up a little and complete my first US action phase. I guess I'm just not sure about this here just now. Okay, I think I'm going to give this a try, and we'll see how we get on. Because, I mean, leaving the units sitting in these intense field of fire hexes back here is not a good idea. And that, from any of the D-Day games, it's not a good thing to have units sitting in an intense field of fire. Normally in the older games, you landed in steady field of fire, then moved into intense field of fire. You had a sort of intense hex to move into, and then get up to the shingle. Well, I'm talking maybe they were different throughout. It was Omaha Beach I played last time, so it looks like there's a lot more intense rather than steady hexes, but okay, well we'll go with this and say we can do that. So we're going to preservation these 2 units together, which becomes movement under fire. And we're crossing brown, blue, and red. Yeah, something feels. I do feel a little unsure about moving them together, but I can't see anything that. Well, it says a US unit that meets the below requirements may conduct a preservation move as a free action. It does say unit. Stop, Grant. Yeah, you were right in the first place. Free actions. Infantry units in a landing beach hex. These units may only conduct a 1 hex preservation move. 7.3. If they do not qualify for any other free action. Well, it's not really 7.3. 7.3.5 for the preservation move. So, we can't do that then. It is only infantry units. I don't know. That just feels like a suicidal move that's not going to get us anywhere. Yeah. It's kind of rough, isn't it? Yeah, well, I never got anywhere near as much done as I would have liked. But I'm going to have to call it a night, actually. Well, maybe not a night, but I need to eat some food and things. So I'll take a pause there, and I'd like to hope this wasn't the end of part 7. And then it'll probably be tomorrow morning I get back to it if I do. I can see some things starting to. Well, I don't know what I've nothing to look at. Usually, I'm able to look at somebody's video footage and get an idea of what about what things to do are good and bad and what the risks are. But I feel like I want to move that, but I feel like it's all that's going to happen is it's going to stay in there disrupted with a step loss. But if I feel like I leave it there, well, that's not generally the case, because if I keep that stacked with that, I can assign the step loss to that. But then next turn, we're just in the same position, aren't we? And it was always the case in the other games that you made these preservation moves, you took a chance. It's just this movement under fire is brutal. We need to disrupt these positions before we move. That's what we want. I mean, we've got these guys up here now. I mean, next turn they could have an attack on that brown position, but that's just the brown position. We've got the blue and the red there as well to bother us. I suppose we kind of need to take this out and come across, but we can't leave these guys just sitting there. They're sitting ducks, really, aren't they? Well, I mean, brown and blue fire into that hex as well, admittedly. So, it might hit there, it might not hit here, but okay. Well, I'll cut this for now anyway, and I'll come back tomorrow with the continuation of this US action phase. Okay, right. Cheers, guys. Hi all. Right, this is going to be the second part of part 7. Hopefully we can wrap something up here. Maybe even to be honest, there's not an awful lot more to do over the First Division side. And, I left things last night with swilling about preservation move that. And I just feel like it's suicide, really. Like I said, brown, blue or red could trigger a step loss, leave the unit in its hex, and disrupted. So I think I'm not going to do that and just leave it there, because I think it's got a slightly better chance of avoiding being hit there. But then, yes, admittedly, what do we do next turn? I guess I kind of would like to get this bit wrapped up and put out there in case I'm blundering with something regarding this movement under fire and preservation move type things, because it just seems rather brutal. So yeah, it might be an idea just to finish off a couple of moves here and then put that as a part. I know it's not the best watch, and I had a hopefully an fun comment from somebody recently saying that they enjoyed the series, but things were I don't know how it was he put it, but not the quickest, shall we say. And I mean, all I can say, I've still not replied to you there, but yeah, that's what you're going to get here. I'm not going to change very much. As things move on, it might pick up the pace a little bit. But yeah, if you're looking for a quick playthrough of DD at Saipan, you'll need to look somewhere else. Or any of my videos, if you're looking for a quick playthrough, you'll don't look at them. Go somewhere else. Watch somebody else doing them. I guess unfortunately there's not an awful lot of this game out there. So yeah, your choice is to persevere with it or wait and someday bring it something. I'm sure there'll be other video playthroughs of this. It's quite a new release, so yeah. But yeah, nothing's going to change very much. So there's the warning's there for you. Okay, so yeah, and I look back here, so I don't think I'm going to preservation move that. We've done moves with all these. There is it's an LVT underneath that. So we can't move that anyway. We can't preservation move that anyway. So, and then further up, these have moved. So it's just these other 3 stacks here. Now, I was looking back at this again, mate, an attack, and I had a look, and it's going to be a 4 attack strength because we're halved into the woods. It's 8 half to 4. Now, if we get a 2 coming up in this, now remember we've revealed 3 units, so what I say? 2 have been 2s and 1's been a 1, was that right? That was a 2, and then we've got a 2 down here and a 1. So I'm tempted, because if we got a 2 and we're then going to be 4 against 2, so 2 to 1 odds. However, that's if it's a 2. and 2 to 1 odds, if we have the weapons, it's all very well, and we get the disruption. If we don't have the weapons, and remember, we're missing a couple of weapons because the infantry company has a step loss, so it's not got the full set of weapons. If, however, we were to get dropped to if we were missing a weapon, we got dropped to the 3 to 2 row, which would be no effect. Now that's not the worst case scenario. It's not the worst, because we would reveal the unit and then we know what we're up against. If we were missing 2 weapons, however, that would be bad, because they would gain depth and depth plus /R. Yeah, they would get the depth marker, and then we would reveal it, and then we would recalculate, and then the odds would probably be down in a place that we don't want to be. Okay, so I might have a go at that, and part of the reason I was going to have a go was I thought we could make a preservation move. Well, first I thought this unit, but then that would give 11 steps in this hex. And we don't want more than 10 steps, as we've found out. So then I started thinking about this unit underneath is disrupted. Could he not, because he's only 3 steps, he's taking a hit, which would make 10 steps in that hex. Could he not make a preservation move into there once we've done this? And that would mean that purple, hopefully, is going to be disrupted. This would be disrupted. So he would be able to just move in without taking any infiltration check. However, it says under infiltration moves, either the unit is in a US landing box, or, and this is the one that we'll be looking at, is disrupted and adjacent to a Japanese position containing undisrupted Japanese units. So he actually can't make a preservation move because this unit that he's adjacent to is disrupted. So yeah, back to square one with that one. So the only other thought I had was about moving these, making a move with these into here, which would be intense purple fire into steady purple fire, and it'd also be intense red fire into steady red fire. But I think it's the moving from the intense part that causes it's leaving an intense field of fire, so it's not great either. So you know what? I'm going to push on and try and get a little bit finished, and I'm going to take a chance, I think, and make this attack, and just see how we get on. So yeah, it's going to be him with his step loss. Obviously the tank underneath cannot. I mean, this was another thing I started wondering about. If this was if it was an LVT, it would supply its one strength here in this attack, wouldn't it? Oh well, no, it wouldn't, Grant, because these only give a free. Remember, we've used our 3 actions, so we're getting a free action. So it's only going to give the free action to the infantry company, and obviously itself as well. So this is a strength of 5. This is 8. We'll check the weapons shortly. Just remember the HQ has a radio as well as the flamethrower and the mortar. So we've got 8 strength attacking into woods against, which is half to 4. So just going to go with this. So worst case, I'm looking for a 2. A 1 would be even better. That's a 2. It's got demolitions, right? I get the feeling that's bad. The good thing is it's only a 2 though, so we might end up no effect here. So, well, let's look at the step loss counter, I guess. We might get lucky. We don't get lucky, do we? Was that? Probably better looking at the camera. I'm squinting my eyes up there. Browning, bazooka, machine gun. So we do not have the weapons. We've got 4 to 2, so we're 2 to 1 odds, and the headquarters does not bring anything to help us either. Well, it doesn't bring demolitions. Now the tank unit underneath. Well, I say tank unit, LVTA. No, actually they don't bring demolitions either. Okay. So you need an infantry with full strength, or a heavy weapons infantry with 2, 3 or 4 steps. And all these would have to be attacking from adjacent, which we are. But, yeah, no. So we're missing. So we've got 2 to 1 odds. We are, however, missing the weapons. So we then go to 3 to 2 and get an NE result, which is no effect. So nothing happens. We've got the unit revealed. At least we know what it is. But unfortunately, it's not disrupted. So, that will be that. And then, yeah, I think that's all I can really do. Well, the other thing I can do up here, because I can't is remove disruption. Now, hang on, that happens. It says it happens at the end, but I think I'd rather just do it now so that I know where I'm at. I don't think it matters. Right, hang on though. Sorry, I'm getting that wrong. It's the actual preservation moves that don't happen until everything else is moved. That's what it is. Okay. So, I think I can just take a free action to remove disruption, can't I? 7.3.5, no, that's preservation move. Give me a sec. Yeah, it's 7.6 on page 16, disrupted unit, US units. A US unit with a disrupted marker may not perform any action except removal of their disruption marker or a preservation move. All units must complete their actions during the US action phase before the player removes any disruption markers from US units. Okay, so it is the same. I'm not really sure why that matters. Maybe it's to make it clear that so to say that the unit's not done anything. But because I'm tilting the units, you know, you'll see this unit, sorry, this one down here. Remember, it got disrupted, and well, it got disrupted with infiltration fire. So I've tilted that to say it's had its action. So I think I'll give myself this, and we'll see if it causes any trouble. So I'm just going to do this now. So I've removed the disruption. That's cost me. Sorry, I'm going to remove its disruption, which is taken, and that means they've taken their action for this turn. I'm going to put these back on top. I mean, yes, I could still preservation move, I guess. But well, no, I can't, can I? Because a preservation move needs to be. It needs to be adjacent to Japanese unit. Oh, hang on, though. It could. Oh, yeah. Sorry, it could have done it because it's in a US landing beach pegs. But no, the disrupted part, yeah. So he can still make a preservation move. Sorry, because he's in a beach landing box hex. But if I move him into there, he's got 4 steps, and it's going to be 11. Pretty sure we've got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 in there, and 4 would be 11. So there's space. It wouldn't be overstacked, but it would be concentrated, and I don't want to do that. Yeah. Okay. So that's that. So I don't see us doing anything else across that side at all. But the fact that you don't do preservation moves till the end, I suppose I could revisit it. But well, the only possible one could be this one, I think. Yeah, but it just looks suicidal. I mean, I know it's not a good place for him to just sit there, and I'd prefer to be in that hex because it's 1 hex further in. But I don't think I'm going to reach that hex because I'm going to get hit when I try to move. So, you know, what do we do about that? Well, we get these units to hopefully do something about this brown position, and then reduce the brown factor about movement under fire into there, and then only have the red and blue, and maybe take a chance with that. Or it's kind of brutal. Okay, I don't have much time at the moment, so I think I might just add that onto the wee piece that we've got there, and just put that out as a part. I'm getting quite a lot of parts done, so, and I'm trying to get them out there quick. I'm trying to watch them, review them quicker, so that there's something to look at. And I know I've had 2 parts now, there's not been any gameplay at all, and maybe that's going to frustrate some. But if it bothers you all that, guys, you're better finding something else to watch, really. It's I kind of like, I enjoy doing it that way, and it's nice and slow. So, you know, if I wasn't enjoying myself and finding it, I needed to speed up and whatever, then that would be a problem. I would try and do that, but I like it this way. So there you go. Right, okay, I'll be back. I might get the chance today, but hopefully tomorrow's going to be a better day. We're getting into the evening of Saturday here, but I think on Sunday I might get a bit more time. Maybe get this turn actually finished. Who knows? So pretty much completed all our movement, all our US actions on the First Division side. So we could come back and have a quick revisit before the end of the US action phase. So now we'll focus our attentions down here and see what we can do there. But I will just cut this, and it'll be a shortish part that I can start reviewing and get out there to you. So I'll be back with part 8 shortly. And John Brown, if he's watching, I'm not forgot about Red Storm. I guess just this was a bit focused just with all that nonsense, trying to get these few rules sorted out, and it's kind of kept my attention here. But I've not, and I think also the fact that we'd finished the scenario over there at Red Storm. Well, I say finished it, I'm still going to have a wee revisit there as well, because it did look like I still could have done something at the end of the scenario that anyway. So but I've not forgotten about it. I will be back to it, and hopefully tomorrow, if I do get that time, I'll definitely have a wee shot of that as well. Okay, I'll be back with part 8 of this sometime soon as well, guys. Okay, cheers.